As a product leader and solutions architect, I have led many enterprise blockchain applications across various domains, be it supply chain management, supply chain finance, telecom, security token offering, central bank digital currencies, HR verification as a service. So these are again also working with Ministry of Education in India to build world's largest educational metaverse by name Polyversity, and also working with 3 central banks. So indeed, it's our pleasure to work with multiple central banks, be it MAS, Central Bank of Nigeria, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. So as a subject matter expert and as a corporate trainer, I have upskilled over 4,000 plus fintech leaders, product owners, working professionals, and educators in blockchain. So that's my brief intro. So today I'll bring my domain expertise and experience in terms of helping you out where to kickstart and why should you build your career in blockchain and where are the opportunities. So I think that is the context of this particular talk. But while I also discuss that, I will also throw some light on some basic concepts or foundational concepts of blockchain. Okay, so that way we are in a good position to make sure you understand the nitty-gritties in terms of building career. So again, for my contributions to the to Indian blockchain ecosystem, I was also recognized as one of the top 50 blockchain influencers in India, but also work on global projects. So today's agenda goes like this: why blockchain as a career, who are hiring blockchain professionals globally, and what are the most sought after job roles, and what are the essential skills to get started with blockchain, and tips for blockchain beginners. And of course, I'm sure some of you might be also coming from functional background. So I will also throw some light on domain specific roles or functional roles, because any technology can be implemented if there are some business leaders who understand where to apply it, right? So other than the technology side of the things, I will also throw some light on functional side of the things and the roles in the business side as well. Okay. So first of all, so again, I would like to ask quickly in the chat, how many of you heard about this technology blockchain and what's your understanding of it? Can you put it in the chat, please? Okay, never heard it. Okay. Okay. And what about others? Oh, okay. Oh, I think we have almost everyone who are pretty much new to this technology. Okay, so then let me, for the benefit of people who don't know anything about it, let me give some basic understanding. Okay. Okay, so let me discuss, like, say, for the first 10 minutes on what is this technology about and why do we need blockchain, and then we'll get on to the career side of the things. Because without knowing the technology, it doesn't make much sense to discuss on the opportunities. So first of all, today we know we are in industry 4.0, and there are n number of technologies which are shaping industry 4.0. What are they? AI, blockchain, cloud, digital twin, and extended reality. A, B, C, D, E. So these are new ABCDEs of Industry 4.0, and blockchain is one of the amazing technology which is bringing a unique value proposition to this industry 4.0. What is that? Let's try to understand that. So today, if you carefully observe, governments, businesses are increasingly becoming digital. And as we increasingly becoming more and more digital, the need for trust, data integrity, and verifiability have become an imperative. Because today, every 4 seconds, a cyber attack happens. So that means the vulnerabilities of the existing IT applications have become very, very tough to make sure the data integrity is assured. So there can be insider attack or there can be external attacks. Now, what blockchain brings is digital trust. That is why it is sometimes called as trust machine. Now, why blockchain as a technology is more promising? Because it has this unique capability called data immutability. That means once you have data committed to the database on blockchain network, it is tamper proof. It is immutable. No one can tamper it. So this way you can trust the data on blockchain. And this has created an amazing possibility, because today, if you want to trust some data, you need to either rely on some trusted third party or an intermediary, or you need to rely on some paperwork in addition to the digital data which is available. But what blockchain does is, you don't need the trusted third party or intermediaries, or you need not rely on some paperwork for additional trust. Rather, blockchain as a technology itself will facilitate data immutability, data verifiability. Okay, so the integrity checks become very easy, and more and more trust can be enabled with blockchain technology. So now the next logical question is, Aravind, you are saying blockchain is a trust machine, it gives data immutability and no one can tamper the data. But what exactly is this technology? So the next logical question is to go with, what is blockchain? So blockchain is basically a distributed ledger governed by a peer-to-peer network. Okay, I will demystify these two terms, distributed ledger and peer-to-peer network, in coming slides. But this is the definition. And sometimes blockchain is also called as Internet of Value. So today the internet which we use is Internet of Information, whereas blockchain is called as Internet of Value. Why? Because anything of value can be stored on blockchain as an asset, and people can do transactions on top of it. And one of the best examples of blockchain, the first example of blockchain or first implementation of blockchain is Bitcoin. Now, I'm sure you might have heard about Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency. Now, what is cryptocurrency? It is a blockchain protocol issued currency which can be used by people to do transactions. So the point is, while today's internet helps us to have peer-to-peer exchange of information, blockchain as the new iteration of web called Web 3 or Internet of Value can facilitate transactions peer-to-peer without relying on any intermediary. And the ownership of data is with the user, because on blockchain network, everyone holds a wallet, and the wallet controls the ownership and access controls with respect to data or assets. Now, the asset need not be only cryptocurrency or money. It can be a central bank digital currency. It can be a health record. It can be a land record. The asset can be a stock of a company, which is called as token. So there are n number of types of assets which can be managed on blockchain without relying on any intermediary. So that is why blockchain initially disrupted fintech, but eventually non-fintech use cases also caught up. Okay, so that means today blockchain is being used in financial services, banking, central banking, but also on the other side, supply chain, manufacturing sector, healthcare, e-governance. So these are also various sectors where blockchain is being leveraged. Now let me demystify the terms blockchain as a distributed ledger and peer-to-peer network. Now I already told you blockchain value proposition is data integrity or data immutability. And blockchain is an interdisciplinary field, right? It has concepts of cryptography, distributed computing, and game theory applied together. And if you carefully observe, you might be wondering, what is this block and what is this chain? Now, the point is, I told you in the previous slide that on a blockchain network, people will have or hold wallets, and they can do transactions on the network with the assets which are created by the applications. So that is why on blockchain, every time, or on a blockchain network, every time there are certain transactions which are getting processed. Now, a block is nothing but a set of transactions which are pooled for a time slot called block time, like say 10 minutes, 2 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds. It depends on the protocol. So every time slot, a block, a pool of transactions are committed to the ledger database. I mean, on the back end, there is a database. And because we are dealing with transactions, the database type used in blockchain is ledger database. Okay. Now what happens is, the next time slot, another block comes, another block of transactions are committed. Next time slot, another block of transactions. So this way, a continuous stream of blocks of transactions are created and committed to the database. And each block is connected to previous block using a hash pointer, which is a pointer, basically a cryptographic function, so that all the blocks are connected with each other. That is why it is called as blockchain. So blockchain itself is a database, which is a data structure, which has pools of transactions as one block, and all are connected with each other. Now, let me quickly show you how a block looks like. Okay, blockchain looks like. See this? So this is blockchain. You're able to see, right? Block 1, block 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it's basically a database. And each block has certain transactions, like some amount. It can be CBDC, means it can be Malaysian currency or Singapore currency or USD, Euro, INR. It can be any currency, or it can be a cryptocurrency also, or it can be a token. So anything of value can be represented, and there is a from address to address, like how we have email ID and password. In blockchain world, people have public private key pair. So a random hexadecimal number becomes your public key, which you can share with others as an account number, and other people can send you that asset. So from address to address and signature, a message signature when you enter the password and sign that yes, do the transaction. So like that, there will be a number of transactions. So this is blockchain, as simple as that. It's a database. It's a ledger. But then why it is called as a distributed ledger? Because in blockchain network, it's not one server which is maintaining this database. There are n number of servers or nodes which maintain the same copy of ledger. See, peer A is one server, peer B is another server, peer C is another server. That is why, because the ledger is maintained or managed by multiple nodes in the network, it is called as distributed ledger. See, the meaning is very simple, distributed ledger, because it is distributed across multiple nodes. But every node will maintain the whole copy. It's not like piece by piece. Whole copy is maintained. Then why is it maintained on multiple nodes? Is it not redundant? I'll come quickly to that. In the coming slide, if you carefully observe, blockchain also has one more amazing feature called a smart contract. A smart contract is a software program, a self-executable program, where all the conditions required to process a transaction is codified. So that means, say I have an agreement with someone, and every profit coming to a account or a wallet is to be split 50-50% between my partner and me. So we will write a smart contract, and all the payment coming to the all the payment coming to the, just a moment. So all the payments coming to that wallet, based on the calculations which is pre-agreed in the smart contract, automatically it will split to our my partner and my wallet. So what is the beauty with smart contract? Automation of transactions. And it can go like complex transactions also, business transactions, agreements, invoice processing, loan processing, escrow mechanism, peer-to-peer lending. So there are n number of use cases which can be codified as smart contracts and can be deployed on blockchain. So blockchain facilitates automation. This is one more capability of blockchain. Okay. Now, if you carefully observe, the IT systems which we use today have three topologies: centralized IT system, distributed IT system, and decentralized IT system. If you carefully observe, on a centralized IT system, there is only one node or one server which maintains the database. Now what happens? An admin of this server may intentionally or unintentionally can tamper the data. That is called as insider attack. Or an external hacker can attack the server and change the data. So today's IT systems are driven by admins. The governance is by admin. The trust is on admin. And it has single point of failure. If I attack that server, the data is vulnerable. Now, if you look at distributed IT architecture, you have a main server, that is master server or master node, and you have sub servers or sub nodes. Now, what happens is some user requests and some data goes to sub servers, and these sub servers will reconcile the data with main server. Now, here also, the main server or master server is managed by an admin. That means if the so anyone with administrative capabilities may tamper the data without notice of others. The change logs also can be removed. And external attack also can happen because it is a single point of failure. If I attack this one central point, the data is vulnerable. But if you look at blockchain, it is a decentralized network. That means you have multiple nodes in the network. It's not one server, rather n number of servers. And all these nodes are in sync with each other. That means everyone is in continuous reconciliation. And any new block of transactions committed to the ledger will happen only when all the nodes in the network agree to that. That is called as consensus. So now if you attack one node, what happens? If you attack one node, what happens? All others have the truth. So the protocol will reject this particular change because all other nodes didn't accept to that change. And second, there is no admin concept in blockchain. Then you might be wondering who will administer that? A protocol will administer the system. So insider attack can't happen because there is no admin concept at all. External attack is very tough because they need to, even if they change or attack couple of nodes, all other nodes has the truth. I mean, the original data, and the protocol will reject the change. Now you might be wondering, so Aravind, are you saying that blockchain can't be hacked and all? Let me tell you, in nature, any system is hackable, but how tough is the question. Now, if you look at blockchain, if you can attack 51% of the nodes in the network, you can attack blockchain. Now say Bitcoin network, for example, 100,000 plus nodes. So you need to attack 51,000 nodes. You take Ethereum has around 30,000 plus nodes. So you need to attack more than 15,000 plus nodes. So the cost of attack is very high in blockchain. Got it? And distributed ledger, as I already highlighted, if the ledger is maintained at one server, it is called a centralized ledger. But if the database is maintained across multiple nodes in the network, it is distributed ledger. So now you should understand, blockchain is a distributed ledger. I mean, with respect to database, it's a distributed ledger. And with respect to backend infrastructure, it is a decentralized peer-to-peer network. Why peer-to-peer network? Because there is no leader concept here. All the nodes are equal before the protocol. And all nodes should follow the rules of protocol. Okay. So any questions, meanwhile, you can put it in the chat. Okay. And I will address them at the end. Okay. So with this, I gave you a very brief introduction to blockchain. Okay. So what are the capabilities of blockchain? First of all, what is the definition of blockchain? Blockchain is Internet of Value. Blockchain is a distributed ledger governed by a peer-to-peer network. And blockchain enables digital trust. And blockchain facilitates data integrity, data immutability. And that is need of the hour, because every now and then cyber attacks are happening. So the most critical data should be on blockchain so that it is very, very tough to manipulate that. And that is why we have blockchain. And then you might be also thinking, why there is also some challenges with respect to cryptocurrencies and all. See, cryptocurrency is only one of the application of blockchain. Please understand. There are n number of other industries where blockchain can be used. Now, I told you in blockchain, there are n number of nodes in the network. If the nodes are maintained by public, it is called as public blockchain. If the nodes are maintained by a group of stakeholders or organizations, it is called as private blockchain or enterprise blockchain. So public blockchain is one side, permissioned blockchain or private blockchain or enterprise blockchain is on the other side. So today, there are jobs in public blockchain space and also private blockchain space. But most of the people in general know only about public blockchains. But there are lots of jobs in private blockchain or enterprise blockchain space. And today I'm here to help you out. How do you position that yourself? Okay. Now, why should you have or choose blockchain as a career? One, it is #1 emerging job of 2023. Now, if you look at LinkedIn, they usually publish emerging jobs report every year. And for last few years, consistently, blockchain is #1 emerging job. You can go and search online. LinkedIn is the professional network which knows which jobs are getting listed again and again. But of course, I think now there is a lot of craze around Chat-GPT AI. But let me tell you again, see, it's a service model which you can integrate with an application and get some conversations or generation. But if you look at that, it's more on an application layer transformation. But if you look at blockchain, It is a back-end transformation. Okay, it has more deeper implications. Okay. Anyways, let's see how the generative AI or ChatGPT things catch up. But on the other side, blockchain is something which has very tangible outcomes. And today, you take every 4 out of 5 central banks or financial service providers are doing some blockchain projects. Okay. You take BIS, Bank of International Settlements, or you take Mastercard, Visa, and you take banks. Almost all the central banks are working on some or other central bank digital currencies. Okay. And BlackRock, the largest asset management company, they are also very recently started applying some ETFs based on some cryptocurrencies and asset management or asset portfolio management. So, I mean, even if you look at Malaysia, there is a lot of traction in terms of public blockchains as well as permissioned blockchains. Because the point is, blockchain as a technology is very young. It came in 2008. And the actual adoption kickstarted in 2015-16. So if you take blockchain, it has a low barrier of entry. Why low barrier of entry? Because there are very less number of professionals who have actually worked on blockchain from starting point. Because even if you look at my profile, my blockchain journey kickstarted in 2017-18. Just after 2 years of mass adoption. So from 2016 is when this Ethereum or Hyperledger or Hedera, or you can take Algorand, Solana, R3 Corda. So there are lots of blockchain platforms on which applications are being built. And when I kickstarted in 2018, it's very few who know about the technology and few only know what it is, what are its capabilities and all. And within just 5 years of my journey, I could become one of the top 50 blockchain influencers, and also could take up or lead global initiatives, because the technology is very young and there is a lot of scope for people who join up. And as per Gartner, as per Ernst and Young, 2025 is the year of mass adoption. And over 10% of world's GDP will be managed on blockchain by 2030, as per Ernst and Young. So you can just imagine the kind of potential blockchain as a technology has. And third, from 2017, there is 33x demand for blockchain developers and blockchain architects and blockchain associates, blockchain analysts, blockchain product leaders. So you have both tech side jobs and also non-tech side jobs. And what are the sectors? What are the sectors where blockchain is being used aggressively? One, banking, international transactions. Stable coin is one amazing use case. Cross-border CBDC, or that is called as MCBDC, multi-CBDC. That means one country CBDC being transacted or exchanged or doing an international transaction with other countries CBDC. Peer-to-peer lending. So banking sector is catching up with blockchain. Capital markets, you take trade finance, chit funds, crypto exchanges. Third, insurance, claim processing through smart contracts. And public sector, digital identity, direct benefit transfer. If you take Estonia, there is a small country. Everyone has an identity called decentralized identity in Estonia, to which every department is connected with, and there is a lot of digital identity projects happening. And even Australian government and Fiji Islands are exploring using decentralized identity for the immigrants. Okay, so even Aadhaar 2.0 in India, Aadhaar 2.0, which is National Identity Platform of India, also coming up with Aadhaar 2.0, which has a component of blockchain to avoid the leakage of personal identifiable information to public, and direct benefit transfers, universal basic income concept being implemented directly to the from government directly to the citizen, and governments have visibility to what is happening with that money. Are they being utilized for the said purpose? So programmable money is future, and blockchain facilitates that. And on the non-financial side, sector side, you have supply chain management, healthcare, electronic medical records being put on blockchain, telecommunications. Even today, university certificates are being issued on blockchain because a lot of fake certificates go into market. And with blockchain, the authenticity or verifiability of certificate can happen with clicks. Land records. So there are n number of use cases around which so there is a question in the chat I will address at the end. So all I want to tell you is blockchain is not just for financial services sector, but blockchain is also for non-financial sector. And who are hiring blockchain professionals? You can take. So all these companies, global companies, are consistently hiring blockchain, developers. And of course, this is a global view, but I'm sure you should be able to go and look at on LinkedIn jobs post and just say blockchain developer jobs, and you should be seeing many opportunities. And to be truthful, if you carefully observe, it is Asia which is leading in blockchain than West. Okay, if you carefully observe, like you say Singapore, you take Malaysia, Cambodia, National Bank of Cambodia, Reserve Bank of India. Okay, all these countries have their CBDC, whereas still Europe and US, they're still exploring theoretically what is CBDC, what is its implications and all. So in that context, blockchain as a technology caught up like fire in APAC region than West. And I think that's an amazing thing because now if the major economies start adopting it, most of the development support happens from these countries. So that is where I think getting upskilled in blockchain will open up global opportunities by default. And now coming to the roles, what are the roles which typically which are typically available for techies or engineering roles? So one is blockchain developer, and these developers basically may have like 1 to 3 years of experience, and all their responsibility is just to write and deploy smart contracts or chain code as per requirements and expose those smart contracts as APIs, as APIs for front-end integration. So mostly they'll be working on the application layer. Second, don't think that blockchain is again only for, what can I say, someone who is only working on that. Blockchain also has a role like full stack developer, okay, or a backend developer. So like say people who are already into cloud, right? The infrastructure management, infrastructure as a service. Blockchain also manages multiple nodes. So all this infrastructure management sometimes happens on cloud. So people in cloud can quickly upskill themselves in terms of few tools like Kubernetes or Docker and create swarm of multiple nodes and server management, and they can quickly shift to blockchain backend roles. Okay, and say full stack developers. So I'm sure you might know full stack is like mean stack or MERN stack. So people who have worked on React.js, AngularJS, MongoDB. So if you learn only that back-end layer of blockchain with your additional, previous experience on front end, you can quickly transition into a blockchain full stack developer. And blockchain project manager is anyways is more who manages the tech side of the things and life cycle management of the project. So these are typical engineering roles. I mean, and years of experiences typically there. And another interesting thing is there are also product leadership roles like blockchain solution architect. Now, see, one of the biggest problem today as per blockchain adoption is the business people or the decision makers do not know where to use blockchain. Though they know that the technology is catching up and there is a lot of potential, they don't know where to start. They don't know how to translate the challenges in day-to-day business into blockchain solution. So blockchain analyst or blockchain business analyst, blockchain solution architect, blockchain product leader. These are also some roles which are catching up. And there are lots of service providers like say Garranto Academy also bringing blockchain for business professionals and blockchain for developers or blockchain architect courses. So you can decide which path or learning path to go based on your background. But there are jobs opportunities not only for techies, but also for business side of the things. Okay. Next, what is a blockchain layers or technology stack? Now, any technology you take, it has multiple layers. So similarly, blockchain also has multiple layers. You have an application layer, services layer, network and protocol layer, and infrastructure layer. Now, anyone who is a fresher or a newly getting into blockchain space, they kickstart with application layer, like writing smart contracts, API integration, UI UX. And what are the typical programming languages you need to know? If at all you are a techie, you need to know JavaScript, Go programming language, Solidity. So these are 2 to 3 programming languages which are widely used. And again, services layer, wallets, digital asset, okay, multi-sig, DID, decentralized identity, okay, distributed file storage. So there are again multiple services layer. Now for the people who are full stack developers, you can understand, you can deep dive into services layer. And if you are a hardcore, like you have understood the blockchain as a technology and you worked on a couple of applications, then you can go deeper and deeper into network and protocol layer and infrastructure layer. Okay. So people who are in existing technologies with little upskilling on certain things, they can smoothly transition into blockchain, or they can have an additional skill. They need not leave their existing tech stack. Rather, they can see if their application can be integrated or some of the data of the application can be put on blockchain. Because blockchain will not replace the existing systems. Blockchain will sit on top of the multiple existing applications and pull the shared data, which should be accessible or visible for multiple stakeholders. Okay. And next, how to kickstart blockchain as a career. One, you need to learn some programming languages like Solidity, Go, JavaScript. And you need to have some essential understanding like full stack development, Angular, React.js, MongoDB, LevelDB, Node.js, and some understanding of API integration. And what are the platforms on which jobs are there? Now, if you carefully observe, Ethereum, Hyperledger, Hedera, Quorum, R3 Coda, see, these are where 70% of the jobs are. And what are the industries which are hiring blockchain professionals? IT, BFSI, right? Healthcare, GovTech. So this is again for blockchain developers. But again, all these same companies or sectors will also hire blockchain business professionals as well. So what are the tips? One, you need to upskill in yourself in blockchain. There are n number of courses, n number of things. And also Garranto Academy also has amazing courses in terms of blockchain. So first, get upskilled yourself. Second, join blockchain developer communities so that you understand what others are doing. And third, make your hands dirty by writing some small smart contracts using some developer tools. So that way you can kickstart and start exploring. So you need not decide to get into blockchain upfront, right? You can start exploring it, and in a year or two, you will realize the potential of it and you can jumpstart. See, that is what I did. So previously I used to work in Internet of Things, embedded systems, distributed computers. But now, like say 2017-18, blockchain caught my attention and I saw huge potential in it. I got upskilled myself and then eventually moved on. So you can also kickstart in the similar lines and make your career in blockchain. So that's all from my side. So now the floor is open for questions. Okay, now there is one question in the chat. Let me address that. And if there are some other questions, you can ask. So how does transaction monitoring by regulators or financial institutions carried out since they are distributed? Okay, so see, one, if you carefully observe, there are two types of blockchains, I told you, right? Public blockchain and private blockchain. If you look at public blockchain, the ledger is made public. That means you can do a API call to the network and ask for the ledger information, and you can view the transactions, you can view the timestamp of the transaction and all. So the verifiability of a transaction is easy in a public blockchain because the ledger is public, but the identity is not known. So in public blockchain, because the transactions are made public, the identities are chosen to be anonymous. Because if I put identity and also transactions public, then everyone knows what is my balance, with whom I am doing transactions and all, right? So that is why in public blockchain, the ledger is public, the transactions are visible, but identity of the people who do transactions is not visible because you are just represented as a hexadecimal number, right? But then if you look at the other side, permissioned blockchain. Now for permissioned blockchain, the ledger is not public. The ledger is only visible to the stakeholders in the system. So selective disclosure of data happens. So if at all a regulator wants to say do an audit of the transactions, then that permissioned blockchain, the stakeholders or consortium should invite the regulator, give them an access on request, and get the compliance done. Okay, so this is how regulators can do the audit, or they can view the transactions. So did I answer your question? WG. Okay. So any other questions? Yeah, feel comfortable to ask. It's, say, no question is like small or big. Okay. Whatever comes to your mind, like to understand, you can throw it. Okay. So don't worry. Okay. So first of all, okay, let me put it this way. So how well did you like the session? Did you get some insights? Please put your responses in the chat, or yeah, you can. So no responses. So what should I assume? Okay, there is some response, very interesting. Okay. What about others? Did you get some insights on this technology, what the terms are? and what is the kind of tech stack and skills required, right? Okay. Okay. So, Janet, I think we are good to go. If at all there is certain questions, like on the feedback or when you get some queries, you can pass it on to me. And if some of you want to stay connected with me on LinkedIn, you can stay connected. I'm just putting my LinkedIn ID in the chat. Yeah, that's my, you can search by that name, and you can stay connected and reach out to me for any queries in future. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
yeah,
Thank
okay,
you, sir. And maybe may we request also for a group photo, sir?
sure, definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Please switch on your cameras for a group selfie.
Hi everyone, good evening. May I request everyone to turn on their cam?
So on a Sunday, you're asking people to switch on camera, which is little risky, right? Okay, let's wait for a moment. They might want to. Okay, I think let's wait for a moment, and whoever switch, I mean, is comfortable, yeah, let them.